Just like having relevant and accurate information is necessary to make sound, hiring, and lending decisions, being engaged in our community is important. DataFax is proud to support the Positives and be a sponsor of the Spark.
Lipscomb and Pitts Insurance is honored to serve the Memphis community for over 60 years. We've always focused on supporting our community and believe in promoting the positives, encouraging engagement, and leading by example. Lipscomb and Pitts Insurance is proud to be a presenting sponsor of the Spark.
Additional funding for the Spark is provided by Christian Brothers University, Mueller Industries, YMCA of Memphis in the Mid-South, Meriton, United Way of the Mid-South, MyTown Movers, MyTown Roofing, MyTown Miracles, and by Serves.
This month on The Spark, our theme is music, dance, and chocolates. We'll learn more about an orchestra enriching the lives of our diverse community through exceptional music and dynamic programs. A dance school and company enhancing the appreciation of classical ballet and other dance genres for youth of diverse backgrounds. And a local chocolatier celebrated nationally for his artistry, creative flavors, and philanthropy. We'll also share a special moment from our Spark Awards 2018. Ever been excited by a new idea? Inspired by watching someone lead by example? When we talk about creating change, we start by sharing the stories of everyday heroes making a difference in their own way so we can learn and do the same. This truth is the power behind this show, which is focused on business and community leaders who are leading by example to give back, fuel change, and create new opportunities for the Mid-South. I'm Jeremy Park, and this is The Spark. They're an orchestra enriching the lives of our diverse community through dynamic programming and exceptional music. I'm here with Robert Moody. He's the music director for the Memphis Symphony Orchestra. Rich legacy. Give us some history for the Memphis Symphony Orchestra.
Well, it's great to be here with you, and we are getting ready for the Memphis Symphony's 68th season. So if you talk to people about the history of the symphony, they typically talk about a date going back to the 1952-1953 season when it became known as the Memphis Symphony Orchestra. Just this past year, actually, we found a photograph of the Memphis Symphonic Society from 1939. So the point is, great symphony music's been going on here for a very long time. This will be my third year as music director. And I follow a great line of giants I'm standing on the shoulders of, going back to the original conductor, Vincent DeFrank, and we have an awesome season coming up. So,
talk about on your end the eclectic side of you know the concerts and what you like when you put together a season. Describe what that's like.
So I always say that an orchestra and a community hires their conductor for the initial chemistry that exists. They keep their conductor for the programming. And I think to really program well, you have to get to know a city well. And programs and concepts and ideas that work in Memphis may not work in New York or even in Nashville. So we have a unique community. We have one of the best musical histories of any city, really, in the world. I mean, this is one of the cultural meccas of so many musical styles. So when it comes to the modern Memphis Symphony Orchestra, we're trying to spend a lot of time focusing on that. Just this past year, you know, we put Stravinsky and Robert Johnson blues together. You know, we had a David Porter salute. We had 2 years ago sort of a great African drumming salute. Next year we're going to do some very similar things as well. So the idea is, how do you play the masters, play the works that people expect to hear by a symphony orchestra, but at the same time really be relevant to the community. I want this orchestra to be an orchestra that people from all walks of life, wherever you came from, whatever music style you like, you think, this is my orchestra.
Well, and with that, a lot of collaboration in the community as well.
Yeah, we are, I don't know if people know this, but we have our own series. We have a Masterworks series, a Classic Accent, a Pop series. We have a really cool special concert coming up next season. But we also are the orchestra for Opera Memphis. We're the orchestra for Ballet Memphis, for New Ballet Ensemble, for the great series of choral concerts at Rhodes College. We work a lot with the Orpheum these days. We're now starting these movies with orchestra. We have the second of our Harry Potter experiences coming up this year. We play at the Botanic Garden. We're ubiquitous. We try and be in the community, not just at the Cannon Center.
Talk about the way this works, because you have professional musicians who also come to Memphis and they share their talents as well, so they plug into the community as a piece of this as well.
Yeah, and I think that's really one of the most important things about the symphony, to note that we have a 75-member orchestra and they live here. They're here year-round, and in addition to everything I just said, they also are faculty or adjunct faculty at the great universities. We have this incredible partnership now with the University of Memphis. They are teaching your kids private lessons. They are involved in Suzuki Young Beginner Strings Academies. They are playing at churches and weddings and you name it. So they are the people who sort of keep not just the full orchestral music going, but the small musical ensembles that make it into, you know, even the small pockets of the community. It's very important for Memphis to have a full-time resident orchestra. No secret that the orchestra has had some financial sort of roller coaster over the years. We are now slowly but surely on the best track the orchestra's been on in decades. We feel really good about that, and we want to make sure that the financial underpinning is there because we need a resident orchestra, just like you said.
Talk about leading from every chair and some of the different programs and ways that especially companies can plug in and sponsors and
yeah, so there are some programs that we do, and again, it's because we're a resident orchestra we can do these things. We have a program called Leading from Every Chair. We work with corporations, so it could be one team of a large corporation like International Paper. It could be a smaller company, and it could be their entire staff. People come and they spend a day at the Cannon Center with the orchestra, and there's some secrets about it I don't want to give away, but let's just say that by the time they've used the experience of how an orchestra is put together and how players in an orchestra work together to understand staff relationship, to understand how they in their business might better communicate for a more effective product. And at the end, the orchestra comes together, the members from the company join them, and they get to do some pretty cool things with the orchestra. So it's one of the great ones. Another one is our ORF program. ORF instruments, a lot of you probably played them when you were a little kid. These are little instruments like recorders and little bells you play in the 3rd, 4th, 5th grade. We have an ORF program with the Shelby County elementary school teachers, and we now reach just about every elementary school where the orchestra goes in and plays a side-by-side concert. And on the first piece, the first graders play with the orchestra. The second piece, the second graders, and so on. And now we've actually created an ORF chorus. So they perform twice with us, and this coming year for the great Carmina Burana, they will be the chorus. It's 100 kids who come through that program. They're all elementary school kids from about 7 different elementary schools. I'm very proud of that.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up, so obviously attending concerts, sponsorships, what's 1 or 2 other ways that we can help?
Well, buy tickets, come to the concert. And here's what I always say to people. If, you know, I didn't grow up in a classical music family, so it was a new experience for me. Somebody put a cello in my hand in the 4th grade, and I didn't know how to say no to the teacher, so here I am. I want people to think that going to the symphony is one of the cool things they might choose to do in any given weekend. You know, hey, what are we going to do this weekend? We'll go to dinner and a movie. This weekend we're going to go to a Grizzlies game. This weekend we're going to catch a show at the Orpheum. This weekend we're going to go to a symphony concert. If we do that, I think we're successful. So I encourage people to check us out. We're kicking off the season with Jesse Norman, one of the greatest opera singers of all time, doing a special concert. We have Amy Grant coming this year, and we have great music of Dvorak and Tchaikovsky and Beethoven. So I think there's really something for everybody.
And where do we go to learn more?
Easy, memphisymphony.org.
Well, greatly appreciate all you do and for coming on the show and sharing. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
They're a dance school and company enhancing not only the appreciation for classic ballet, but genres of all dance. We're here with Shawnice Thompson. She is the Executive Artistic Director for Ballet on Wheels Dance School and Company. Give us some history for Ballet on Wheels.
Yeah, so we're actually going into our 17th season, and we are just a fun, creative outlet for students wanting to learn dance, and that's all different dance art forms from ballet to hip-hop to modern, and we focus on performance exposure. So our kids do a lot of performing just within our season, but also within the community.
Absolutely. And so talk about on your end, kind of paint the picture, because you do work with diverse youth. So talk about some of the different backgrounds and just in general the ages that you work with.
Yeah, so the kids come from all over. We have a couple kids that come from Arkansas and, you know, from just all over the Mid-South, you know, so some of the students do go to high school or middle school together. Some meet and they become best friends, and their parents and grandparents become such good friends, and so that's the beauty of it. You know, you can come in and maybe not know a soul, but you're going to walk out with you know, someone that could probably be a part of your life forever. I tell my kids all the time, I met my best friend over 35 years ago in dance class, and so when I see those relationships blossom, to me, that's most important. If they learn how to dance, great. But if you can build a relationship that, you know, has an impact on you and your family, then, you know, I think my job is halfway there.
Well, and I think dance, you know, and I want you to speak to this, is you have the discipline and obviously the athletic ability that goes with dance, but there's so much more. To your point, it's confidence. It's things that will carry over into their academic success, their life success in general.
Absolutely. There's organization, it's that time management, you know, it's being able to multitask. You know, we talk about all the time, you know, a lot of times, you know, people will see the final performance and they see these beautiful dancers dancing, but there's so much that goes on behind the scenes. You know, it's, do I have on the right costume? Which entrance of the stage am I supposed to be on? You know, what piece is this? You know, sometimes the girls are in so many different dance pieces. So it definitely, you know, builds so many life lessons. You know, I talk to a lot of my kids that are in college now, and they're doing so well just because they say, you know what, I'm used to it. I'm used to juggling that home life, my classroom, my life after that, being able to put those things together. So they're prepared. And just because they've been so busy, we want to keep them as busy as possible. When they get to school, they can stay focused. So again, you've got your classes, but then you have that social piece of it. And so a lot of them that I've talked to, they haven't gotten, you know, they haven't started to go down the wrong road maybe, or, you know, I'm doing too much of this, but not enough of this, because I think we start with that balance and we try to continue that balance.
Talk about kind of a typical week in the sense of the programmatic pieces, the classes, but then leading up to the production. So kind of walk us through not just a week, but maybe a month and a year, kind of what that looks like throughout the calendar year.
Yeah, so we you know, try to plan out our season in as much advance notice as possible. We have a couple of signature programs that we look forward to every year. We just finished our spring concert of the Wiz here at the Halloran Theater, so that's the big culminating event, which includes all of our students. But we have so many other, you know, Christmas programs. We have a youth community concert that we partner with Cordova High School and Prison Ensemble. That's a big performance for us. We have our annual Easter basket camp. So there's programming that the kids are involved in just in terms of performing, but then also we try to put them on the backside of it. So a lot of that part is helping to put those programs together, helping to assist with the classes, helping to tell other students at your school about it so that we can get new faces and get other people familiar with what we do. So there are a lot of pieces. We try to keep the girls involved in all of that, and you know, again, just trying to build that holistic student.
Talk about scholarships and how that works as well.
Yeah, so we have our annual scholarship program in November of each year, and it's open to, you know, anyone in the community. We do full and partial scholarships, and it's just a way for kids that, you know, maybe didn't know that they were interested, or maybe I am interested and I just want to try it out. You know, maybe I have this talent and I don't have the resources. My family doesn't have the resources to be able to engage in such a big endeavor. Our Dream to Dance Scholarship Program is definitely for them, and we have a lot of kids that come through the program. And one of the things that I've enhanced over the years is just that it's not a one-year program. It's not a two-year program. When you start with the program, be it 8th grade, 9th grade, 6th grade, or what have you, and you're interested and you know, stick with the guidelines and that type of thing, you can graduate on the program through scholarship, and that's important. Yeah, absolutely.
What puts a smile on your face when you look at the number of youth you're able to work with and the impact you're able to have on these kids and the students? What puts a smile on your face?
I think when the light bulb goes off and they go from dancer to, oh my gosh, I'm assisting, to, oh, I can help that customer at the front desk, or, oh, I know where it is, or I can go and talk to that parent. That makes the biggest difference in the world, because what they don't know is that they're building a future that they may not even know about. I never in a million years thought that I would be a dance instructor, thought that I would, you know, run a program that impacts the life of kids, but it just happened, and it kind of happened at the spur of the moment. So I think they're putting those pieces together. So even if they think A and they have to fall back on something, I want them to be able to fall back where they can teach it, they can know it, but then they can also understand the business side of it.
So where do we go to not only, you know, obviously offer financial contributions and help, but to see when the programs are, and where do we go to follow the conversation and learn more?
Absolutely. It's balletonwheels.org.
Well, Shanice, greatly appreciate all you're doing and for coming on the show. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me, Jeremy.
The Spark Awards annually recognize and celebrate individuals and organizations that have made outstanding contributions to the community. The 2018 Legacy Award was given to Glenda Hastings, the owner of Napa Cafe, who has supported our community by literally bringing people to the table.
Well, I've always had a passion for food and wine. My first dining experience in Memphis was at Justine's. And when I got in the restaurant business in college, like a lot of college students do, I really seemed to gravitate towards it and excelled in it. Never knew that this would be my path. My degree was in chemistry. I thought I was going to go into the medical field. But as I worked in the industry for a while, I realized that this was really something I was very passionate about. So after working at Napa Cafe for just a very short period of time, I asked the owners if I could buy it from them. I really saw it as a path that I wanted to pursue.
Talk about using it as a catalyst to give back. I think that's what's really remarkable is you use the restaurant to give back.
Well, you know, I think it was actually interesting. There's a common thread with me and my business, and that is passion. I do have a heart for giving, feeding people, not just to make money or create a business, but to help people in need. Heartful of Soul is a concert wine dinner that benefits the Stax Music Academy. And that started 8 years ago, actually, by doing something that I'm passionate about, which is having wine dinners. And wanting to do something with either music or dance, and ultimately chose music. And being in Memphis, you're going to choose probably Stax to go along that route. And once I realized there was a music academy associated with Stax Records and Stax Museum, I knew it had to be a fundraiser. So it's my passion and the passion of the kids doing what they love so much and what they're so good at, coming together and creating an event that's not only just sensational, it's helping them out, helping them pursue their dreams.
Talk about Donna's Table. This is something that's really remarkable. You do it around Thanksgiving, so share Donna's Table.
That is something that I lost my mom 12 years ago, and my favorite meal that she prepared for me was Thanksgiving. I love that time of year. And about 4 years ago, I decided that I wanted to open the restaurant on Thanksgiving and feed people in need, whatever that need was. And I thought for sure it would be a need of feeling a sense of community and comfort and family. And so I wanted to create my mom's Thanksgiving feast. And so when the guests walk in, there's a turkey on every table, which I love that. It seats tables of 8, and when they come in, they see all those turkeys on the table. They're fed family style, so they get to put as much as they want on a plate, and it's beautiful candlelight, flowers, and just a beautiful day. And I do that every Thanksgiving. I hope that I inspire people. I don't mind singing to the top of my lungs what I do at the restaurant, because I'm regular. I have an idea and I start doing it, whatever it is, and it's never perfect. It's usually very bumpy, but if I can share that story with someone and let them know, hey, it doesn't have to be perfect in the beginning. Just start it, just try doing it, and you'll figure it out as you go along, because it's amazing how many doors and people come into your path once you're walking down that path that you're on, that is for the greater good. And so moving forward and people seeing what I do, I hope I inspire them, if they have an idea, something that they're passionate about, something that's in their heart, to go and do it. Because again, that's when something you're doing from the heart, it's so much easier.
He's a local chocolatier, celebrated nationally for his creativity, his artistry, and his philanthropy. We've got Philip Ashley Ricks with Philip Ashley Chocolates. You are the president and CEO, the chef, the designer chocolatier, so you wear many hats. But yes. Give us some history, because really cool storyline for you in terms of starting Philip Ashley Chocolates. Give us a little bit of history.
Yeah, so once upon a time, came up in corporate America, you know, corporate sales, marketing, all of that. And I say one day I woke up from a dream saying, I'm going to be a chocolatier. So it was either that or an astronaut. So I went with what I thought was easier. So, but it took me about 3 years of just, you know, self-immersion, learning everything about food, how people taste, traveling, seeking out chocolate, that sort of thing, because really wanted to be able to tell my own stories with chocolate. And so, yeah, 3 years of just really learning everything, honestly, before I even touched chocolate. And, you know, fast forward to today, you know, after you know, a lot of trials and tasting, and here, try this out. And now we get to tell stories that taste like chocolate. So.
Well, and you do some really creative things in terms of bourbons and you know, goat cheese. Like, you have so many different flavors. So describe kind of your thought process when it comes to infusing these flavors and the creativity, and even putting brands on chocolates.
Sure,
I mean, you've taken this thing far.
Right. So yeah, so you know, from the very beginning, I was like, you know, I want to go far enough out into left field where, you know, you can see a distinct difference, but also you still recognize this as chocolate. So coming from Memphis, one of the first chocolates, I said, oh, we got to do something with barbecue. So we put barbecue in chocolate, something that's really nice, rich, to kind of pay homage to all the things that are going on food-wise here. The very first chocolate I did actually was for my grandmother. It was a sweet potato chocolate, Mama Jean. So, and just really from there, it started with French blue cheese and sweet corn and basil, and you know, we have a margarita chocolate and all kinds of things. Something we're doing now that's really popular is actually seemingly more simple but still complex, a turtle. So I was like, how can I transform, you know, pecans and caramel and chocolate that people love into more of a bite-sized vehicle, and so we're making our own caramel, roasting the pecans and that sort of thing. But you know, everything from turtles to blue cheese, we put it in chocolate. So.
Well, and even on your end, you become a scientist in terms of being able to ship the chocolates worldwide and what it takes even on that. I think those are little things that fly under most people's radar, but it's like, sure, it's not just enough to create the flavors and the artistry, but how do I then deliver it in a way that's meaningful as well?
Absolutely. And one of the things we wanted to do, I really focused early on, how do we, you know, get chocolates to you in California, or to you in Japan for that matter, and spend a lot of time focusing on transporting the product once it's made. Making it is one thing. Now, how do we get it out of Memphis into the various markets around the country and the world? And so spend a lot of time focusing on packaging design, what's the best ways of transporting, how do we keep it in the proper condition so when it leaves our kitchen and arrives to yours, it's just as beautiful. And so those are the things that a lot of time, in you know, countless hours in the middle of the night, working with different suppliers and vendors and engineers to really, you know, just so 12 pieces of chocolate ultimately make it to you, and they're beautiful.
Right.
So.
Now, I mean, you've been celebrated between Oscars, Grammys. I mean, you yourself have been all over the place, just even following you on social media.
Right.
Describe what that's like to literally go from Memphis to being all over now.
So I've had a lot of fun. I said all we need to do now is the Tonys, and we'll have, you know, the Emmys, Grammys, Oscars, and the Tonys. So, but it's been cool. You know, one day just got a couple phone calls, say, hey, would you like to come out to LA and do? Originally, it was just a green room thing for the Oscars, and then kind of from there, the Grammy was like, hey, we got your chocolates at a party, you know, kind of randomly it seemed. Can we have you come out and do the chocolates for the after party? So the big governor's ball for the Grammys, and this was in 2016. And then people from the Emmys heard about our story on CNN. It was just kind of a fun story. The EVP for the production company was on the phone on a conference call with the staff. It's like, hey, we need to find a chocolate company because we want to do some things for the governor's balls for the Emmys. Got off the phone, turned on Sirius XM and the radio, and boom, CNN is playing my story. And I was like, and so I get a call from his assistant like 2 hours later on that day. So it was just one of those universe things. So that's how they learned about us. And so we made over 30,000 chocolates for a little over, just under 9,000 people.
Wow.
And so it was actually the Emmys happens over about 2 weeks. And so 2 different governor's ball parties. But yeah, so moved from Cooper Young, by the way, to the Medical Arts District. So we're now 1200 Madison Avenue. So
there you go.
You know, more visible, more production space, which was definitely needed. So yeah, it's moving well.
Talk about the partnership. You do a lot with St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. You use your chocolates to give back. So talk a little bit about the philanthropy side.
Yeah, St. Jude, Le Bonheur, really, again, just wanted to be able to, it's chocolate, so it's got to be fun. You know, we're not saving lives, but we can help save lives through awareness and the money that we help raise by creating chocolates for these organizations to use in different platforms to raise money and to bring awareness to the kids that they're providing transplants for, the cancer treatments that they're, all these innovative things that they're bringing. And so I just get a lot of joy dressed up as Coco Claus last year, and we're going to do it again this year and go give toys to the Heart Institute patients, books and things like that. So yeah, it's been a fun time.
So where do we go to learn more? So mention the retail, but also to website. Where do we go? 1200
Madison Avenue, right there in the middle of the Medical Arts District, Madison and Bellevue. But always, philipashleychocolates.com is online. We ship all over the country. We can get it to other parts of the world as well. Philip Ashley on Instagram, that's where we do a lot of our visual kind of temptation, so to speak. So yeah.
Well, thank you for all you do. Greatly appreciate you coming on the show. Thank you.
Awesome. My pleasure. Thanks.
A theme like music, dance, and chocolates is definitely fun, but it also showcases our city's diversity when it comes to art. We have a famous musical legacy with the blues, soul, gospel, and rock and roll, but we also have a rich legacy with symphonic and classical music. The Memphis Symphony Orchestra continues to innovate and is taking community engagement to a new level, forging partnerships with organizations like Soulsville and companies like FedEx to engage our city through mentoring and teaching, receptions and work presentations, where individuals can experience what it's like to lead from every chair. Nonprofits like Ballet on Wheels, Dance School and Company are working with our city's youth to not only teach them the art of dance, but the discipline and confidence to succeed in life. Then companies like Philip Ashley Chocolates are using art and creativity to feed us, inspire us, and give back all the way to the Oscars and Grammys. Thank you for watching The Spark. To learn more about each of the guests, to watch past episodes, and to share your stories of others leading by example, visit WKNO.org and click on the link for The Spark. We look forward to seeing you next month, and we hope that you'll continue joining with us to create a spark for the Mid-South.
Just like having relevant and accurate information is necessary to make sound hiring and lending decisions, being engaged in our community is important. DataFax is proud to support the positives and be a sponsor of The Spark.
Lipscomb & Pitts Insurance is honored to serve the Memphis community for over 60 years. We've always focused on supporting our community and believe in promoting the positives, encouraging engagement, and leading by example. Lipscomb & Pitts Insurance is proud to be a presenting sponsor of The Spark.